Hello, everyone. Strong Balance Solutions. Sarah here with you today for Sturdy Seniors class. And we're just going to get going. Today, we're going to start a couple things that you're going to want to grab. What I have here is a chair and a strap and a pillow and a mat. So, a strap, you can use a dog leash or a rope strap if you don't have a strap. Just a chair. If it's a flimsy chair, it's nice to have a wall available. Grab a yoga mat if you have one, or a rug that you like, or towel. And then I like to have a small pillow around. So that's what we will grab. Looks like there's two of you watching, so that's exciting. All right, we're going to start today by laying down. So go ahead and make your way down to the ground. I know that that's an exercise in itself, so take your time and don't worry, we're going to hang out down here for a minute once you do make your way to the ground. So go ahead and take a lay down. Your pillow might come in handy here. If you feel like you have to crank your neck to get your head back to the floor, if you put a pillow under it, it actually can help you elongate. So I think about kind of grabbing the base of my head and like pulling it and letting my chin come down a little bit, and then setting my head on the pillow or the floor if the floor is available. The pillow is pretty nice though. And just allowing the knees to be bent. If you can't lay on the floor, you could put your legs up on the chair. So if I had my chair over here, I would set my legs up on it to be in this comfortable position, which is a nice position as well. Or feet planted on the ground, and just let yourself find the floor, which takes a little bit of time, a little bit of awareness. The floor is flat, our body isn't. As we lay down, it automatically helps us feel grounded. And I just want you to imagine the imprint of your body being larger on the mat. Your breathing is going to come into play here, and I want you to breathe into your belly. And then as you exhale, I want the belly to pull back towards the spine as the air comes out, and you expand through the rib cage horizontally along the floor. So it's really about this big breath going into the belly, and then that exhale coming from this little bit of vagal tone throughout that breath cycle. Just taking a few moments to breathe can really get us out of our parasympathetic nervous system or our stress response and help us find our parasympathetic nervous system, or the body's availability to relax, right? And that all comes from taking a deep breath. You can go in through the nose and you can go out through the mouth if you like. I do recommend going out through the nose as well as in through the nose. What that does is it kind of helps our body to already utilize our fat metabolism. And if you notice, it makes it easier for that breath to feel expansive on the exhalation. Taking it all the way into the pelvic floor, there's like this little barely contraction of the pelvic floor as you exhale. And that's a part of that air expanding through the rib cage as you exhale. And if you do it through your nose, you'll notice that you can try to make this like oceanic noise. To do this, I take the tip of my tongue and place it on the top of your mouth, right behind your teeth, and let your tongue drop in your throat. So it's really opening up the throat channel. Try to see if you can make an audible exhalation through the nose. So hopefully those deep breaths took you to a more relaxed space. And then for this next one, you can use your strap or have it nearby. You might want it for any of these. And then you also might not need it for them. So this one, if you don't need it, you're just pulling your knee in towards your chest. If you need the strap to do that to help you, you're taking the strap underneath the knee and pulling the knee towards the chest. So we're pulling the knee towards the chest and then extending the other leg flat out on the ground. Now notice when you did that, can you keep your hips in alignment with each other? Right? So whatever knee you have up, that hip isn't jacked up towards your rib cage. It's in line with the extended leg hip. And we're really trying to get a stretch through the front of that extended leg. And then just to switch, we'll flex the foot of that extended blade and slide the heel in and plant it on the ground, and then switch sides, taking the strap around the other knee. If you're using the strap, if you're just using your hand, you're just holding your knee here and pulling it in towards the chest. And that alone, even with this knee bent, is kind of a nice stretch and kind of a nice awareness of to how tight the hips and glutes are. And then we go with the extension of the leg. Same breath applies, right? Breathing deep into the belly and feeling that slight drawback of the belly. And the exhale. Flex the extended foot and slide it back in on the floor. Bring that knee up to 90 degrees, and you can take your strap here, if you have a strap, and pull it behind both knees. And you're just going to think about sucking your belly down towards the floor. So this time on the inhale, I want you to suck your belly down towards the floor. And exhale, think about keeping it there and hinging at the hips. How deep of a hinge can you make at the hips, keeping the spine long? So we don't have a big round of the tailbone coming off the ground. You're thinking about keeping your spine as long from the tip of the head to the back of the tailbone as you can while using the knees. With the inhale, suck the belly in, and the exhale, hinge at the hip flexor. Pull both knees in. Can you keep both knees and feet parallel like railroad tracks? One more time. Inhale, exhale, hinge at the hips. A lot different in that neutral spine. This time you can grab your knees and allow the tailbone to lift up off of the floor and feel that now we're going deeper into a flexion of the spine, putting it into that rounded shape, scooping the low back into the floor, and the tailbone lifts up a little bit deeper. Noticing the difference between what it is to have that back scooped down to the floor or neutral spine, right, with a little bit of curvature in the low back. I'm going to take the strap and put it around both feet. Take the feet really, really wide, and then pull the knees down towards the sides of the rib cage and try to keep the feet right over the knees, nice and wide. So this is a modified happy baby. Then breathing into the length of the neck, the length of the spine. And extend both legs up. Let them just kind of relax back down to the ground. And we'll take our strap again and we're going to bring it underneath just one leg. So it's underneath my left leg, and I have my left foot on the ground. I'm going to take my right foot to my left knee and make this figure four shape. And I'm just going to hang out here for a second because I feel super tight in my glutes and hips. And just play with this idea of bringing the knee into the line and then back out wide and trying to feel that hip opening, feeling as if I open the hip, does this left hip want to come up towards my rib cage? I want to keep it down. Right? And then from here, we're going to come into that classic figure 4 piriformis stretch. Good. And let that left foot come back down to the ground. And we're going to take our body, left side, that strap just comes to the side, arms come out wide, and we're going to let our whole body turn to the right until that right knee comes down. Stretch. If it hurts your knee at all, just let that right foot slide off of the left knee. In fact, we can all let that happen. Still hang out here. Feel this nice internal hip rotation on this left side. And bring it back to the center. Okay, so take your strap and put it around the other leg. So in this case, for me, it's my right leg. I'm putting it underneath the knee and down to the ground. And then my left leg, I'm bringing up, externally opening the hip. Oh, just playing with this ability to open and close the hip and how much stress I feel in my torso when I do it, like letting my belly stay soft, right? And then as I'm doing it, thinking about keeping the hips in line and just noticing that opening of the hip. And then once I got it, kind of pull it in, get into that piriformis, figure 4 stretch, modified pigeon. All different ways to think about the stretch that we really should do daily, maybe even multiple times a day. Well, seniors today are just kind of getting what I need. I sat in the car for a really long time. I just went on a road trip, basically all around Wyoming and Colorado and Utah, and it was a lot of driving. It was really good to connect with a bunch of people from my past, really good for my spirit. However, I don't think it was very good for my butt. Now we're taking it into this stretch, letting the whole hips roll off to the left. And again, if that doesn't feel good on the knee, just let the foot slip off. We all can let that foot slip off and just find this nice, easy, gentle twist. Feeling a separation at the waist, right? Good. And bring it back to the center. Grab your strap. You're going to take your strap and plant it around the foot. And then we're taking that foot up towards the ceiling. Now you can have a slight bend in the knee, or you can have it totally straight. You're trying to get a nice stretch through that hamstring, through the back of the leg. So for me today, mine's right here. My leg's pretty straight, working towards 90 degrees. I'm driving my toe over my nose. Okay, now I'm going to take both straps. It's my right foot that's up, so my left hand. I'm going to take both straps into my left hand. My right hand off for balance, and then I'm going to pull that foot off to the right, to the left, across the body. I'm trying to keep my hip down. So in some yoga classes, you might see this foot go all the way over, just like we did in that twist we just did. But for me here, you're going to think about keeping both sides of the waist long, both hips rooted, and that hip really rooted, trying to get into the side, the IT band. It's called the IT band because it's from your ilium to your tibia. So it runs down the side of your leg. So you're thinking about side, back of the leg right now. And bring that back to the center. And I think it's almost easier to kind of pull back on the strap to lift the other leg, lift the other leg. and switch sides. Again, starting with just a nice hamstring stretch. If you need the knee to be bent, that's okay. Just drive the toes over the nose and keep the glutes grounded, keep the back neutral, belly soft. It's not just about moving, it's about how you move. And when you move your leg, what does that do to our low back? What does it do to our core, our shoulders? And then take both straps into the right hand, left hand's off for balance, and then you drive the foot just across the body a little bit, keeping the hip rooted. Good, and bring it back to the center. And we'll lose the strap and let that foot come down to the ground. Okay, a little stretch out. Not necessarily trying to get more flexible, just trying to allow our body to move into these positions, right? Functional movement positions that our bodies have to do anyway. And at the same time, go into that breathing and telling the nervous system to relax, right? To go parasympathetic so that we're not fighting the stretch. So, when you're not warm, you're not going so deep into stretches that you're trying to get more flexible. You're just visiting the stretch, visiting the discomfort, and feeling like, okay, what can I do to have better alignment through my core as I extend my extremity or get into this muscle? Okay, so that's kind of the point of that slow style stretching warm up. It's not quite dynamic in nature, which is normally what they would tell you to do for a warm up, dynamic stretching. Instead, it's just not going to any sort of breaking point, looking more at the functional mechanics of movement, right? So not going anywhere crazy with the body when we're not warmed up. Now plant the feet on the ground, and we're going to scoop the pubic bone up towards the ceiling. The tailbone rocks off the floor, and it pulls up towards the ceiling and come into a bridge, keeping almost the rib cage down and thinking about scooping the pelvic floor up, or it's a posterior tilt, I guess. The back of the pelvis is moving backwards posteriorly, which to me, I think the pubic bone is moving up. And I'm sucking my belly towards my spine, seeing how long I can get. I want to feel a stretch through my quads, and I want to feel some work going on in the glutes. If you get a cramp, extend the leg, come down and extend the cramped leg, right? Maybe extend the other cramped leg. Come back. If you really want to focus inner thighs here, squeeze the feet together, squeeze the knees together, and lift there, right? Think about the tops of the quads lifting straight up towards the ceiling, squeezing the inner thighs together. We're just rocking it up and down, up and down. Tricked you into working hard. It's time. Good, and hold it. Hold it at the top. Again, not a really, really high top, not a yoga. We're not rolling the shoulders under, right? We're just thinking about scooping, sucking the belly towards the spine, making all this length, and then contracting the glutes and the hamstrings. And lower back down to the ground. Extend one leg out on the floor, shake it out. Extend the other leg out on the floor, shake it out. Okay. All right, this time you can do it exactly the same way as you did, or we can get a little bit more yogi about it. And when we're doing yoga, we're thinking about making space behind the heart in our bridge. To do that, often move your pillow, If that alone didn't seem like a good idea, then probably just stick with the one you just did, barely scooping the pubic bone up. This, we're going to start the same way, scooping the pubic bone up and feeling that contraction of the glutes and hamstrings. But then I'm going to kind of roll my shoulder a little deeper onto the back body and try to lift up the space behind my heart. So again, my back is not arching, my low back, right? The arc is coming behind the heart space, and my low back is staying long because I'm sucking the belly button towards the spine and thinking about really engaging the quads, lifting towards the ceiling. Good, and come down. When you come down on that one, think tailbone lowers all the way towards the heels, and then low back relaxes, and my shoulders are still kind of stuck on the back of my body. Now, to come out of that tension, we're going to come into a child's pose, which is kind of that first pose we went to, playing with where's neutral spine, how deep can I bring the knees in, neutral spine, and then how deep can I bring the knees in when I allow the back to round or do posterior pelvic tilt, the opposite of that bridge. And also, we're going to bring the feet down to the ground, hands off to the side, and just take the knees, gentle twist from side to side. And then let them fall all the way to one side. If your shoulder has to come up so that you feel safe in the low back, that's okay. Let it happen. And then slowly open the shoulder and think about the twist happening at the waist, separating the upper body from the lower body. Sometimes I'll come out of the twist a little bit and then roll the whole body back to the center. And then we're going to take it rock and then twist all the way over. Notice it's okay for that shoulder to want to come up, protect the back, and then play with like, can I open up into this nice big stretch through the chest? And come back to the center. Roll your whole body to the side, push your top hand into the floor, and push yourself up to a seated position. Redo my ponytail. Okay, seated position. I don't know where we're going today. Just kind of going with the flow of what my body says it needs to do. So in this position, it's uncomfortable in class, but right now you're at home, so you can just go for it. We're going to open up the groin. Those feet come down to the ground, and you allow yourself to kind of lift the chest up towards the ceiling. Like the pubic bone is working towards the floor, the belly is getting longer, maybe a stretch is happening in the shoulders, neck, take the head back a little bit. Bring it forward, and now we're going to rock both knees off to the right. So I'm going to speak to the true direction I'm going, which means I won't necessarily be mirroring you. You might be going the opposite way. So I'm going to the right side, which means my right hip is doing an external movement and my left hip is doing an internal movement, and I'm coming down into our 90-90-90 position. And for this, what today, right now, it doesn't really have to be perfect, like however you can kind of be in this box. And you're going to twist and take your belly button towards that front knee and kind of lower your belly button like your belly button's folding towards the leg. And the chest is lifting forward. And come up out of it. we're going to play a little game with this front leg. If you want, you can really try. You can use your mat. You can make your shin parallel with the front of the mat, your leg parallel with the back of the mat, 90 degrees here, right? And then this leg, back leg, front of it's parallel with the mat, and the back is square to it. I'm a little in front of my mat so you can have a better view of me. But that's the position we're trying to get. Call it 90, 90, 90. 90 at my knees, 90 at my groin, 90 at my back knee. If it's not perfect there, it's all right. Okay? So we're going to do a little strength exercise here. We're going to think about pushing with the muscles, not with my hand, the leg down into the ground. So we're going to push it down into the ground for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then relax. Again, push it down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. One more time, push it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, relax. Okay, this one's harder for me. We're going to try to pick the leg up. You start by thinking about picking the knee up and then maybe the foot. And it's okay if you have to rock back a little bit to do it. So we're going to try to lift the whole thing up for 5 seconds. So it's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now see, can you get a little deeper into that fold? As I fold, I'm not rounding through the mid-back. I'm thinking about folding my belly button down towards the quad, basically keeping the chest lifted. If there's a point when the forearms come down to the ground, awesome. If not, stay up on the hands. Hopefully that strength exercise made you able to go a little deeper. Go ahead and come up, twist to the center, feel how that was. Internal rotation on the right, external on the left. Those of you that play golf, this is important, right? Being able to take that knee, now we're moving to the left, so the right side is going to be internally moving. That's an internal hip rotation to bring us into this position. Again, this position is important, this 90, 90, 90. Taking your belly button and trying to work it towards the leg, front leg. Come out of the stretch. And we're going to push it down, again, with the muscle, trying to get the whole front shin down to the ground first. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, second time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, third time. Push it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now comes the hard part. We're going to try to lift it up. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And then come back into your fold, back into your stretch. Keeping those sit bones really pushed back. Shoulders squaring up to the leg. Working folding at the hips. And come back to the center. And all the way back to the middle. Nice work. Okay, rocking it off to the right again. This time, take your belly button and turn it towards this back leg, right? If right now my right leg is the front leg, then I guess it's kind of closer to the screen. But you're going to think about turning the belly button towards that. Now, if you have to, you can lean back a little, but you're trying to get your body up on top of your glutes and sit this left sit bone down towards the floor. It's like not so much a stretch it if it just feels uncomfortable. That's normal. Like feel like I get stuck in this hip girdle. And that's what we're working on, this internal hip rotation that's going on. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to push down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. This time, hold your knee and try to lift that heel. Now, you might get a cramp. And the answer to that cramp is going to be turning to the other side. So here we go, trying to lift that heel for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it come down and see if you can get a little deeper into that twist. If you did get a cramp, again, kind of opening it up and switching sides solves that problem. Okay, 90, 90, 90, 90 at the knee, groin knee, turning my belly button towards the back leg, or one closer to the camera in this case. Working on that internal hip rotation on my right side now. And you'll notice, like, one side you're way better at sitting on because that's your natural, normal way of sitting. And then you go to the other side and it feels awkward. This side's easier for me, right? Even the internal on the right, because I just am so tight on my right, I never sit. Push down for 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. And try to lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So many things went wrong. You can let yourself out of it a little if so many things went wrong. Just leaning back and then working up into that twist. Woo! Bring both legs up and take them down. Come back to the ground. I don't know why I'm wearing shoes. All of this so far could definitely be done without shoes, but I just was planning on standing up, and we might get there. I'm not sure we've got a whole hour, so that's how exercise should be. Mindful, right? Thinking about what the body needs today. And right now you're all with me, and this is what my body needs today. Let's do another bridge. Lift up. Come down. One knee in, one leg out. And switch. Okay, one more thing on our back, then we'll move to all fours. Some different dead bug exercises. You can grab your pillow, put your pillow in the mix if you like it under your head. Also, you can just think about lengthening that neck, setting the whole neck back, not having this big crease, right, in the middle of the neck. We're just going to do, this one's kind of like a running man. So our arms are bent at a 90-degree angle, and we're going to bring one knee up and one arm up to 90 degrees and back down, and then switch. Think about moving like a robot, being very intentional. And take a break. Bring those arms up to that 90-degree angle. Same thing, 90 degrees at the elbow, both arms 90 degrees up. We're going to take, let's go, one arm goes straight up, opposite knee goes up. All kinds of ways to be a dead bug. Now go arms straight up and bend the knees 90 degrees. If you can, if you can't, you can have your chair underneath your heels. I don't have that going on, but you could have your chair right under your heels and barely lifting those heels off of the chair, or even resting the heels on the chair here and sucking the belly towards the floor. This is the main position. Arms plug into the ground, hands face each other, palms, and we're going to kind of robot move 90 degrees and back. Other one, 90 degrees and back. Good. And then take a break. Since we have the chair, we'll just grab it. We could do this one with or without the chair, but I think I'm going to show the example with the chair. So now we're doing opposite arm, opposite leg extension. Don't move the chair like I am if that's not comfortable for your body. I feel like it's definitely some mindful movement there I was doing with my chair. But anyway, so here you could have your feet resting on the chair and you're going to bring them up off the chair and you're going to extend till your calf touches the chair. My heels would be resting right on the edge of the chair if I needed to. And this is where you can feel already that that core is engaged, right? The further away the chair is, the harder it is. And then here, again, the further away the chair is, the harder it is because you're extending till your calves touch the chair. I need to move my chair back. So I have to do some work just to feel like that lift off the chair. I'm really working that 90-degree angle. Okay, so that's the real work. The rest is just kind of fun and extra. But the idea is really sucking that belly down towards the spine. So arms 90 degrees. Face 90 degrees. Opposite arm, opposite leg. Extend. You can see how you could do this without the chair if the awareness is there. The lower I go with my leg, the harder the exercise is going to be. However, it's important that the low back doesn't come off the ground, right? Or out of neutral. Ah, good. That should feel like some work. Rest the heels on the chair. And we're just going to bring one of them off and back down, other one off and back down. Suck the belly towards the spine. You want to make it harder, start with the feet off of the chair and come down to the chair. The bigger movement I have at my hip, the harder the exercise. Also, the harder it is to keep that good form in the low back. Ah, so that's some of my favorite dead bug core stuff. Now that our core has worked plenty, we're going to turn and move the chair out of the way. And we're going to come onto all fours. If all fours hurt your knees, do something about it. Put a pillow underneath the knees. Works. Helps. Does help. Also makes balance a little harder, which makes us work a little harder, which is not all bad. So, tabletop position. Really work the fingers down into the ground and then the wrists down into the ground. But think about not just putting weight on the outside and the inside of the wrist. Distribute the weight through the whole hand. The shoulders might be backed off at first, and you slowly start to hinge the shoulders over the wrists. This alone is just warming up the wrist, this hinge back and forth. Right? Keeping weight in the hands, noticing if you can keep an equal line of distribution of weight across the wrist. Now I'm getting big for the buck. I'm also working my core. I'm trying to keep my back completely flat as long as like there was a ski pole on it. And I'm trying to hinge forward and backwards without changing my tabletop. So I'm not going into a rounded child's pose position. As my tailbone works back, I'm feeling that same hinge in the hips we mentioned in our warm-up. This is a core exercise, sucking the belly towards the spine, keeping the back flat. And it's a shoulder exercise, keeping the shoulders away from the ears throughout the experience and working that weight through the wrist, equal distribution. This time, take it back as far as you can and then let yourself round. Now, if you have knee issues, it's fine. Leave your butt up in the air. Just let your head come down to the floor and kind of support it even. Like your version of child's pose should feel like relaxation. Hang out there for a moment. Good. And then come back and find your 90-degree angles, right? Or if your shoulders have to be slightly backed up, that's okay. And here we're just going to take one foot back, top of the toe touches the ground, and lift that leg up to 90 degrees. And then can we do that with the opposite arm? So I'll take my fingertips to the ground at a 45-degree angle and kind of root the shoulder in. So I'm creating this like arch bridge, and then I'm a straight bridge. We're just going to do opposite arm, opposite leg, same side, lift 10 times. 4, and then switch sides. So same thing. So you're creating the shape by stepping the toe back, top of the toes on the ground, and I think about sucking my belly up and in towards my spine, and then creating this long, flat back. And then I'm taking my opposite hand forward and feeling that shoulder root in, palm faces inward, and I'm trying to find the strength to lift from the glute, the deltoid, arm, off the back. Back's working, for sure, to stay stable. I forgot to count. I think that's close. Good, and then coming into your version of child's pose. So in a perfect world, right, I'm back here with my butt, but if that doesn't feel good to your knees, leave your butt in the air. If you want to come to the forearms, just really let your neck relax. I mean, I'm imagining for seniors, 30 seniors, right, that in my 35-year-old body, this is what feels good to me. Just letting my head kind of hang towards the ground, relaxing the neck, relaxing the low back, starting to feel that hinge up in the knees. Okay, and working our way up to standing. So if you have your chair, you can use that to help you stand. If you want to go chairless, tuck the toes under, work the weight off of the knees and push it into your heels, right? So the knees come up, you push that weight back into the heels. And you find where you can have weight on all 4 corners of both feet. Then bring the hands to the knees. Keep gazing at the front of your mat. We've been down on the floor a long time. Then from there, start to hinge and stand up. Keep gazing at the same thing until you feel your kind of heart rate, blood pressure regulate. And then you get up and move about. Okay, so we're standing, and I won't make you go back down to the ground now that we've come up to standing. So standing, let's just loosen it up. We're going to do our muscle works warm up. Breathing. It's all about the breath, bringing that breath all the way down into the belly. One arm comes up, internal hip rotation. And switch sides. This time we're taking it across, so let the shoulder relax, shoulders right over bum, extend the fingers and back down. Time opposite hand to opposite knee. Nice stretch through that straight. Switch. Again, same thing. Knees wide, hands on both feet. One shoulder rolls in, you look over the other shoulder. Back to the center, other side. Find the center and drop it down. Hands come to the knees, flat back. Hinge and stand up. Inhale, arms come above the head. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale. Exhale. Good work today, sturdy seniors. I think that is it. It was fun working out with you. You can visit this on the county's page or Strong Balance Solutions page, and you can email me at strongbalancesolutions@gmail.com if you have any questions about anything we did or any special things going on that you need some extra love and attention. I'm here for you. All right, thanks. Bye.